The second largest real estate fund in the world, Starwood, a $10 billion real estate fund, is bleeding cash with no good options to save itself. If rates don't drop, they could be completely out of cash by the end of the year. A new Florida law passed in 2022 is tearing through the condominium market, forcing thousands of residents to put their properties up for sale. And finally, inventory continues to tick up month after month in South Florida. Buyers have more leverage today than they've had in years. And we expect this trend to likely continue moving forward. My name is Kelly Gasoba. I'm a licensed realtor down here in sunny Florida, here to be your trusted source for real estate and market-related news. And this is a Jaguar and Crane production.
Quando a saudade bater, cê vai chorar, vai beber, vai ligar, querendo voltar.
DJ Lucas Beats.
Eu vou falar que não quero, beijando sua boca, falar que te odeio, tirando sua roupa, mas em quatro paredes, num quarto escuro, você vai ouvir no Eu Te Amo por segundos. Eu vou falar que não quero, beijando sua boca, falar que te odeio, tirando sua roupa, mas em quatro paredes, num quarto escuro, você vai ouvir no Eu Te Amo por segundos. Por segundo.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and thanks so much for tuning in. If you're new to this channel, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It will help this channel grow, expand our reach to more viewers, and will ultimately help us out big time with the YouTube algorithm. And with that, let's get started with the news of the day. Wall Street Journal reports a $10 billion real estate fund is bleeding cash and running out of options. The Starwood Real Estate Income Trust, known as SREIT, has three choices. None of them are appealing. Starwood is just barely hanging on and will likely completely run out of cash before the end of the year. Investors want their money back and are just yanking out cash month after month. The only thing that's saving them is that investors can only pull out 15% of the cash at a time. But even with this protection, they're still walking themselves right off a cliff. Now, if the second largest real estate fund is in a full-blown liquidity crisis, imagine how all the other smaller funds must be doing. Just take a look at this chart for redemptions. $800 million pulled out of the fund in Q4 2022 after the Fed started raising rates. Another $671 million pulled out in Q1 2023. This fund has already invested much of the capital that it raised starting in 2018. The money is still largely tied up in these investments, with this many people asking for their money back, money that they simply do not have in liquid form. It will surely spell doom for not just this fund, but for many other private equity style funds, as well as funds such as Blackstone and others if this trend continues. Now, how did we even get there? How did we get here? Funds like Starwood were popular when interest rates were low because they paid dividends. Dividends in the 5% range. Sold through financial advisors, they allowed small-time investors to participate in what was then a hot property market in commercial real estate and residential real estate. But just think about how folks' mindsets are today. Ask yourself, why would a small-time investor put any money at all in a fund giving them just 5% in dividends when the federal government today is paying people 5.5% risk-free for doing absolutely nothing? It makes no sense whatsoever, and that's why people have continued to pull out their money, and don't expect people to start putting any money back into these funds anytime soon. Let's look at these fundraising numbers. We go from $600 million a month, $700 million a month. This is early 2022. Fast forward to today, we're looking at $15 million a month. This is a 98% decline in fundraising. And at this point, they've only survived because they've had a $1.5 billion credit line that they've been drawing from. Much of this is already maxed out. I believe they got about $200 million left to draw before it's lights out. At this point, they got three options, all of which are terrible in my view. The fund could borrow more, and that would be costly at today's extremely high interest rates. Which means they would take on more debt. Their debt is already 57% of their business, which is much higher than comparable real estate funds. The fund could choose to sell assets. SREIT owns hundreds of properties throughout the country, mostly warehouses, rental properties throughout the Sun Belt. But much of the valley on the commercial side has been hammered by high rates, which drive up the costs in the high leverage business. And on the rental side, for residential units, rental properties have been largely hurt by the overbuilding we see in many of these markets. There is no demand to buy real estate right now. Consumers simply do not have the ability to pay for this. If they begin just dumping properties on the market, it would be an absolute surge in housing inventory sold at rock bottom prices. A fire sale. I suspect many of these funds that have bought up mountains of homes throughout the country are in this waiting game, just praying for interest rates to plummet. So either A, people don't pull out all their cash, or B, they don't need to reset their variable interest rate debt to sky-high levels. At first, it was survive to 2024. Well, we're in 2024 today. Rates don't appear to be going down. In fact, there's even a possibility, I say, for a rate hike. So now it's what? Survive to 25? Guys, it's only a matter of time before things begin to break. One last option these guys have is to halt or limit further investor redemptions. But this would be an absolute kill shot to them and any other fund that tries something similar. That would be a last resort because it would make it near impossible to raise even 1 penny more of new money. Who would put money into a fund knowing you'll never be able to get it out when you actually need it? Folks, we need to continue to watch this closely because events such as this, where large real estate, multi-billion-dollar funds go belly up, these could be one of the key activities to fundamentally changing the real estate game. Next on the news, new Florida law is roiling the condominium market 3 years after the Surfside collapse. Now, for those who are familiar with the Surfside collapse, this was an event in June 24th of 2021. The Champlain Towers is a 12-story beachfront condominium in the Miami suburb. It partially collapsed, causing the death of around 98 people. And a large contributing factor to this collapse was the degradation of the structural support of the building. At the basement level and many other parts of the building, it just lacked this structural support. There was a corrosion of reinforcing steel. Now, as a result, there was a condo reform bill signed into law by the governor in 2022 that forced buildings to pass inspections that were 30 years or more, 30 years or older. And these buildings would be checked every 10 years going forward. So buildings that did fail this inspection would need to be essentially overhauled, renovated. These repairs would cost tens of millions of dollars, and condo associations would have to pass all these costs onto the owners of these condominium units. Now, one story that illustrates this perfectly is the story of Ivan Rodriguez, who purchased a condominium at Cricket Club, an exclusive bayfront unit in North Miami. In 2019, he liquidated his 401k retirement account to purchase a 1,500 square foot unit for about $190,000. Because of this new state law that requires older buildings to meet certain structural safety standards, the condo board recently proposed a near $30 million special assessment for repairs, including roof replacement, waterproofing, a whole bunch of different changes. It would amount to about $134,000 per unit for the individual owner. Ivan simply did not have the money, so he had to put his home up for sale, joining dozens of others in the building who are all doing the same. And after originally listing his home for $350,000, he kept marking it lower and lower until he finally sold it for a mere $110,000 last month, 42% less than what he actually paid for it. Stories like this are happening all across Florida. Just take a look at this chart. Total condo listings for sale in South Florida by building age. If you look at units less than 10 years, there's not even 1,000 homes for sale. If you look at units 10 to 30 years old, we got around 2,500. And then we look at 30 years old, my goodness. You see just a shocker of new listings. People are essentially being forced out of their homes because they cannot afford to front the bill for these new regulations. The homes are practically being given away. This is a big reason why inventory has been shooting up in South Florida. If you look at this second chart, we see a similar story. The law is passed in 2022, and as the inspections roll along through the state, we see this spike in new condo listings. Buyers have more power today to negotiate prices down than they have had in years. And stories like Ivan Rodriguez tell you that the buyers are in fact capitalizing on this changing market landscape. And now we're going to discuss the latest numbers on the South Florida market, touching on Miami, Broward, Palm Beach County, and St. Lucie counties. When we look at the South Florida market in general, across all property types, we look at a median sale price of $500,000. This is up 11% from a year ago. Inventory is up across the board, around 60%, up 57% from a year ago. So net, we actually are in a buyer's market. We have about 6 months supply of inventory. And those who watch this channel understand that once you creep north of 5.5 months of inventory into the 6 months range, you escape the neutral market and now you enter a buyer's market. Things less than 5.5 months is a seller's market. So South Florida is now officially in a buyer's market. Just barely, but we're in a buyer's market, but it's not evenly distributed across home types. So if you look at single family homes versus townhouses and condos. For the single family homes, we look at the median sale price much higher than $500,000. We have it at $650,000, up 11% from a year ago. Month supply of inventory is around 4.3 months. When we look at the townhomes and condominiums, right? We're looking at $355,000, much cheaper. These are up around 9% from a year ago. Inventory is up 70% for these townhomes and condos, and much of this is driven by the condominiums based on this new laws that have been passed. We have about 7.6 months of inventory. When we narrow in on Miami-Dade County for the single family homes, we have a median sale price of $654,000, up 9% from a year ago. Month supply of inventory is around 4.4 months. When we look at those townhomes and condos, we have it a bit cheaper, $440,000, still quite expensive. This is up 7% from a year ago. Active inventory is up around 46%, almost 50%. And we have 8.3 months of inventory. 8.3 months of inventory, up 4.9 months from the prior year. When we go to Broward County, we look at a median sale price of $635,000, up 10% from a year ago. Single family homes are still quite expensive up in Broward. Months of supply of inventory, 4.0 months. So this is, again, for the single family homes, a seller's market. The buyers do not have that negotiation power for those single family homes. When we look at those townhomes and condominiums, we're looking at 7.4 months of inventory, up 4.6% from a year ago. Median sale price $282,000, with inventory doubling, up 100% from a year ago. Median time to sale, we're looking at about 82 days. And now we move over to Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County median sale price is $650,000, up 11% from a year ago. Month supply of inventory is around 4.4 months, up from 3.1 months from the year prior. When we look at the townhomes and condos, what do we see? Median sale price $340,000, up 12% from a year ago. Inventory is up 70%. Again, this is driven by these condominiums being put up for sale. Month supply of inventory is nearly 7 months. So we have a buyer's market yet again, even here in Palm Beach County. In St. Lucie County, for the single family homes, it looks like it's a seller's market, 4.4 months of inventory. Median sale price is $403,000, up 6% from the year prior. Active inventory is up 60%, nearly 60% from the year prior. And when we look at the townhomes and condominiums, median sale price is $320,000, up around 5% from the year prior. Month supply of inventory is looking like 7.6 months, up from 4.7 months from a year ago. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. That is it for the news. I hope this information was helpful to both buyers and sellers alike, and will help folks navigate this ever-changing market in real estate, and especially down here in South Florida. Thanks again. Take care. Goodbye. And God bless.
Baby, oh yeah, make we do paradise, that me and you. Baby, 1+1 now you. Only when you chop at you.